There's a ghost on here, you just can't see it yet. Welcome in, I'm Kim with Lolly Doodle Studios. Today we're gonna work on just a cute, fun little Halloween type project. How do you paint white on top of white paper? You would use the white of the paper in order to create the white of your ghost, which means you kind of have to work from the darks up to the lights. If you like this type of video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so that you're notified for any new videos that we may bring up. You can also grab templates, books, see my favorite supplies by checking out the website lollydoodlestudios.com, and I also have a free gift below. You can check that out in the description box to get you painting with me. So I've just got an 8x10 square of this is Canson papers, and I have got my Maylang palette. If maybe color mixing is not your most favorite thing in the world to do, like myself, I like to have a nice palette that has all of these amazing choices on it. So let's get into finding our ghost. And you know, ghosts can come in all shapes and sizes. So typically I would just come in with like a little soft circle, which would be where the ghost's head would be. And then I can just bring two straightish lines down to the side, right? And I can just do wiggly lines, sort of like a wave, and I can just bring them up and meet those lines that came down from my circle, right? So we can just do these little wavy lines up and around, and I'm just gonna lightly go in and erase that bottom half of my circle. I can fix the shape, you know, you can adjust the shape any way you want. And my ghost is going to have a little bit of a floral crown. So I'm going to erase the top part of it. I want to go in and I want to just do some easy, simple little florals. So I'm going to use the tip of my petal brush and I'm just going to pick a color. I'm going to come in to some of my pinks that I already have mixed. This is the swatch for this set. We can grab some more. How about we go in with the red rose? I've missed it. So we've got the red rose and I can mix it with some water. And I love this petal brush because it makes making flowers so easy. All I need to do is take that point of the brush, touch it to the paper, press and pull, right? So I can just kind of pull that and it kind of helps me. So I can make maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little petals of a flower. Maybe I'll do one even smaller here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are just loose little 5-petal shapes, right? So, and they're just kind of like little triangles, little blobs. 5 of them. I'm going to do 3 flowers, and I'm going to let them sit for a minute to dry. Now, you can probably guess that Spooky Halloween is not going to be this tutorial today, but I do have some coming up. So if you love Halloween and you love watercolor and painting, you'll also want to hit that button below and subscribe. Give this video a like so that you will see any videos that we may have coming up in the future. So I'm just going to drop that brush and you see where it gives me that already nice little point, and I'm just going to add just a few little leaf shapes. Nothing perfect. I want this to be soft, loose, and not stressful. So we've got a little bit of a flower crown going on there at the top of our ghost. I'm gonna let this be. I used a lot of water, so I wanna let that dry a good bit. I'm gonna dry off my brush now. Now, we're gonna do just a little bit of the background here. Now remember, we want a white ghost, so we've already got white paper. So if we went in with the white watercolor here, which we could do, right? But it's still not going to give you this much different than is already on the paper. So what I would do now, right, is find a color in here to create almost like a spooky little shadow behind my ghost. So I'm going to take advantage of some of this purple, right? So let's see, we are using the bright purple from over here. So I'm going to use some of this bright purple, but I'm also going to dip into a little bit of, let's see, we're going to come over here and dip into Payne's Gray. My Payne's Gray, it's backwards. So my Payne's Gray is this one right here. I'm going to mist that a little. It's drying quickly. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that on my brush and tap it into my purple. I just want to tone that down a bit and create like a smoky gray. So I'm going to grab just a little bit more water on that brush. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush. This is just the way I like to do it. And then with fresh water, I'm not going to come up near my flowers just yet. I'm going to come down here at the side of where my ghost is, and I'm just going to lay some water all the way around the edge, the outside edge of where I kind of drew my little ghost in. And then I'm going to come over and grab a little bit of that color that we just mixed, and I'm just going to follow right along that pencil line and drop some of that color in. And it's just going to spread out wherever I put the water, wherever your paper is wet, the color will want to go, it will want to spread. So wherever is wet, wet on wet, so we're putting wet paint on top of wet paper, it's just going to want to spread. I can come in spots and make that a little bit darker if I want it to stand out more on this side. Right? I don't want to drag it too much, but I can come in with some fresh water and really just tap into that and soften it, pull it around. So as deep and as dark as you want that to be. It's a little bit bright, but it's okay. I want my ghost to stand out. So as you can see now, we're darkening up. I'm going to use some of that blue. We're darkening up around the outside of the ghost to create like a shadow. Now the shadow that I'm making is quite a bit bright, which is fine, right? These colors in here, it's partly why I love this palette. They're so bright and fun to work with. Lots of water. And I'm just going to pull that up and around carefully, not going into the flowers, and kind of going around the top of where that ghost's head would be, right? And I can still come in here with water and keep, the more water I put, the more I can pull that color out and about. If I want it to be darker and spooky, I can come back in here and grab some of that dark Payne's Gray, which is a really dark blue, bluish gray color, and I can just tap some of that around. Can let it do what watercolor does, which is naturally spread out in the water. You can see I'm getting a really cool effect here on this side of the ghost. I'll come in a bit so you can see that. Where the water is veining out. These are the kind of things that I absolutely love about watercolor. Some people don't like that. They would consider that like a mistake. I think it is just an amazing texture. And I just want to keep pulling my paper, my water out. I want that color to really sort of fade out almost into a nothing. Okay, and if I really want to have fun with this, because remember, I'm not doing a spooky Halloween today, I can come in with some of that really bright, I'll come and grab some bright pink, and maybe I can just add a few dots of that around the edge of my ghost. I can either help that spread a little bit or just let the watercolor do its thing on its own. I think I'm going to spread it just a bit just to have some fun, right? Okay, and then at this point I would either just set this aside and let it dry, or I can make it dry. So I think at this moment, hold on just a moment, I'm gonna make this dry and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we're dry, we're back. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with leaving this the way it is right now, coming in with either a micron or a black pen and drawing in some little eyes for your ghost, perhaps a mouth. But if you would like to take this up just a tiny little bit of a notch, right? Which of course, if you know me, I usually do. So I'm gonna take that same brush with some fresh water on my brush, and now on the inside of the ghost, I'm gonna leave, see where we did these waves? I'm just gonna take that brush, I'm gonna press it, pull up and lift it to a point, press it, pull up and lift it to a point, maybe halfway up, and I might do about 3 of those. Okay, I've got a good bit of water on there. My paper is glistening. If you can see that glisten there, we like to glisten with our watercolor, ladies. And I'm gonna take this same Payne's gray color, just watered down, and I am gonna tap that right into those lines that I just put on my ghost. I'm gonna help that spread just a tiny bit. Right, I can use that just to spread it. I'm not putting any extra water. I'm not putting any extra paint. And I have a lot of water there actually, so I'm gonna take this brush, dry it. I'm just gonna tap it. Then I'm gonna use it as a mop and lift some of that back up and off. And I'm just gonna blot it on my paper towel. So this is how we sort of erase with watercolor, right? So I'm gonna lift some of that off. Now what we've done, it's very light, so I'm hoping you can see the effect. I believe that you can, is we have created just a little bit of a shadow of, say, his little ghost body wrinkling, you know, like the folds on a sheet. And we can pull that. I'm gonna darken just one side of them. And then we've created some shadow of the sheet. I can do the same thing kind of at the top of the head, maybe just a little bit here and there. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna use my brush, the same brush. If you don't have this brush, just use the brush that you have. It's not a big deal. And because I wanna do a cute little pink girly ghost, I'm gonna put 2 little circles right there, about where the cheeks would be. A tiny little drop of I am using rose pink, a tiny drop with lots of water. I want this to be very soft, not a lot of paint, just quite a bit of color. I mean, not a lot of color. I want it to just be a soft little pink cheek, very soft. And if I get it too dark, I'm going to come in with my paper towel and I'm going to lift just gently. I'm going to tap that to lift a little bit of that pink off. Okay, now I'm going to want to make sure that this is dry, so give me a second. We're going to dry this again. You can leave as is. You can come in with a micron pen, put in little eyes, put in a mouth. You can do some detail around the flower or leave as is. I am going to just stick with the whole watercolor theme, and I am just going to dip right on into my black watercolor over here. Just going to pick up a little bit of my black out of the Maylang set, and as I said, it's just a tiny little bit. I'm just going to come in using the very tip of this brush, only the tip, and I'm just going to draw 2 little ovals for eyes. You can do a mouth, but I think I'm just gonna do eyes and leave it, right? And I have an adorable little ghost here. Now, I can still come in and do like a finishing touch in the center of the flowers. They look a little flat to me, so I'm just gonna come over and I'm gonna grab some of this nice bright orange color and just tap some of that in the center of my flowers. and my ghost is done. So this is how you find your ghost on white watercolor paper. Please let me know below if you like this video. What would you like to paint next? I love to hear your suggestions. Leave any questions you may have. And again, I just asked you share this video with a friend who might also enjoy painting this. These are quick, simple, and easy, and I would love to paint with you again. Have a great night.